visiting with my mother and helping my granny all day and just needed to rest and recoup. Posted my video, and here's something I'm gonna. Okay, listen, people. Here's something I'm gonna say to a lot of the people that want to come to my comment section and be a little bitch. I don't watch every channel. I don't go through and meticulously like grade you on who you are as a human being. I had something come up in my recommendeds this morning, and I clicked on it because the title made it seem as though they had valid information. But when I began listening, the woman said, I'm getting this from a DCS worker who's leaking the information. And I immediately stopped. Because at that point, if what she said is true, then that information that she has been gotten by illegal means, has been gotten in violation of HIPAA, and is benefiting no one. Okay, so I don't come here to mince words, and I don't come here to have petty YouTube fights. I don't start that crap, and I don't want that crap started with me. But what I will bring you is actual TCA annotated code and legal reasoning. Now, if it's a parental information released to the public and to the news, if it is a court opening of a sealed case and it becomes public knowledge, that's fine. If it's your opinion about what may be going on that you have derived from what the parents have stated and what police have stated, that's fine. But when you state, I know what's going on behind the walls of Tennessee State Custody for Children, and you begin giving information that is specific about mental health treatment, then you place yourself in a very precarious position. And whoever is giving that information is not doing so in good faith. They're actually violating numerous DCS state guidelines and laws and could potentially end up with charges. And I just try to come on as a voice of reason and say, listen, don't do this. It's illegal. I mean, you would think that would be the end of the story, right? I mean, most adults, you would think that would be the end of the story. But because people get so emotionally hyped up about this story, they think they can step beyond these barriers that Tennessee state law says, I'm sorry, you can't do that. These children are in protective custody for a reason, and we need to respect that protective custody, and we need to allow that protective custody to extend to this YouTube platform because it's the right thing to do. You would think that would be the end of the discussion. But what I want you to do, if you have any questions about what you're doing, because everybody, and I had a couple of them, I think, well, I guess you think I must be a horrible person too. Listen, I'm not here to dictate who you are, what your worth is, how great you think you are to Jesus. That's not what I'm here to do. Okay? I had a response to an illegal issue that I saw on YouTube this morning. I didn't have a personal issue with anyone. I had a response to an illegal issue that I saw on YouTube this morning. And when I came home, if I could have found it again, I probably would have called in a report. But I can't find it now, so I guess everybody's lucky. This is a serious situation. These children are in protective custody. There are laws, rules, court contracts, and privacy regulations that have to be maintained for these children. You cannot breach that wall and expect to have no repercussions. If you have an issue about is something you're doing violating DCS, go read the client's handbook at files.dcs.tn.gov. And I don't know exactly who it was because I was in like a brain fog when I was like looking and pushing him. But again, I don't care who it was. Anyone that is doing this, I just want to let them know you are doing something that is terribly dangerous and terribly wrong. And Tennessee state law is not going to overlook it should they figure out who is releasing the information, and then you will become an accomplice. So we just don't need to do this. It is not necessary. Any district attorney or attorney general that sees people doing this, especially on a high profile case, they will not be kind to you. And I'm not trying to pick a fight. I'm trying to educate you to let you know that that is illegal, that that is wrong, that your behavior in that response is not necessary, it's not needed, and it violates multiple state laws. So go to files.dcs.tn.gov, files.dcs.tn.gov, and read the confidential child-specific information section. Now, there's a whole handbook there that shows the clients the rights they have and how they can have those rights and exercise those rights. But the confidential child-specific information states that all information created or collected directly or indirectly in any medium which identifies you and your child shall be kept confidential in order to protect your privacy and will not be shared except as provided for by law. Child case files and related information are official records which have been designated as confidential by law. If you have an issue with that, write DCS Customer Relations Unit at 315 Diedrich Street, 10th floor, UBS Building, Nashville, Tennessee, 37243. But if you think DCS workers are supposed to be releasing information, I'm going to read you. You see that Tennessee state seal? You see that? I'm fixing to read this to you, okay? This is Administrative Policies and Procedures. Enforcement sanctions and penalties for violations of privacy rights. Now, he goes on and on and on about all DCS employees must use appropriate safeguards to prevent improper uses or disclosures of a client's PHI, personal health information. It's got 2 pages. It's got 2 pages. Again, you can get this at files.dcs.tn.gov. It goes on and on and on and on. It says enforcement of HIPAA violations. State attorney generals may bring a civil action in federal court on behalf of state residents in any case in which an attorney general has reason to believe that an interest of one or more state residents, anyone in state custody, has been or is threatened or adversely affected by any person who violates the HIPAA privacy and security rules to enjoin the violation and for damages up to $100 per violation, up to $25,000 per calendar year, and attorney fees. Now listen. I'm not trying to be a hooch, okay? Don't bring that pettiness to me. Don't bring that petty. If I'm bringing information and education to you and I am trying to help you understand that you're doing something illegal and you turn around and be petty, I don't play that game. I don't play that game. Because if you're an adult and you can read Tennessee Annotated Code, you should probably know what you can and can't say about a minor. But if you don't, I will step on here and I'm not going to personally pick you out. I'm not going to personally identify you. I'm not going to berate you. I'm going to allow you to watch this, and if you identify someone who's doing this, it's on you. It's on you. If you feel guilty when you watch this, then sit down and have a talk with yourself. Are you doing something that's inappropriate when you're speaking about this case? There's a very fine line, and that's why when you hear me talk about this, it's about something that's been a public release and not about rumors. That's why I have to be so careful. So when you come to my comment section and you try to start a word war, I will not have one with you. I will send you a TCA code, which is law that they're going to use to place you under arrest and put you into court and punish you for doing things like this. And if you feel comfortable enough violating that law, that is once again on you. I am simply trying to educate you. There's a little bit of kindness in my heart for the people that are emotionally stuck in this crap. Sorry, there is. But when it comes to minors in state's custody, I draw the line. My primary objective now is the safety and future functioning of those children, as I know it is the workers that are taking care of them, and everyone that's trying to protect them and keep it quiet. And that is why you've not heard a blip on the radar. So let's all be adults and act like adults and act like we can actually read the laws that were written for this agency and the people that violate that agency's rules. And if you're going to make content, let's make content that is useful, that is thought-provoking, Don't go on and try to get clickbait because you have what you think is insider information about the specifics of the care of the ones in state's custody. That's just tacky and illegal. Illegal being, probably the more prominent word that you should worry about. But I'm not going to play this YouTube creator crap. Number one, to be quite honest, I don't care if anyone likes me. I do care if you know Tennessee state law and you follow it. So, at the end of the day, if you're butthurt because I read state law to you and I told you that what you were doing was illegal, I don't care. Because I'm an adult. And what is important is the safety parameters that are placed by Tennessee state law for those children. So, I'm not going to play that game. No, I don't get pissy. I'm not going to play that game. I will not join into that pettiness. I will not start that. But let me tell you what. Now that I've heard it. If I hear it again and there are identifying factors to who may be releasing the information, you bet your sweet bippy I will call and be doing a claim. Because when I worked, I was a mandatory reporter. And in my heart, I am still a mandatory reporter. And so before YouTube clicks, likes, shares, I will do what's right by state law to protect those children. So I'm just trying to educate you. I'm just trying to say, hey, there's a right and a wrong way to do this. Opinions, projections, thoughts, it's great. But when you try to get over the wall of protective custody and get specific health or mental health or emotional treatment, no, it's wrong. Yeah, once a mandatory reporter, always a mandatory reporter. And if you're a mandatory reporter and you've worked in any jobs, you can understand the backlash that these children are going to go through. They're in a very tight bubble right now, but they will not be for the rest of their life. And what some adults think they're coming on here and saying about them, they think it's beneficial, but they don't understand how those children are going to compost this in 4, 5, 6, 10 years. And it's not going to be beneficial to the children. And at the end of the day, that should be the concern. Is this going to harm these children? Does it violate state law? Am I stepping outside of the bounds, or I'm going to create an ethical dilemma for myself and potentially put myself on a district attorney's radar? Because that is somewhere you do not want to be. That is not fun. And I'm not threatening anyone. I'm just simply telling you Tennessee state law. And these children are protected so viciously because the people that protect them know what they've come from. So every child that goes into Tennessee state law is protected. And these workers and the courts and the officers will take action if they feel something is harmful. Yeah, y'all know I tread a very fine line, and I try to be super, super respectful, and, if I say something, I try to say it in the nicest way possible, and to be quite honest, sometimes, I sit here and think, well, when this blows over and there is closure to this case, there's potential that I may need to go back and just block a couple of videos, because at that point, once the case is resolved and certain things become public information, there will be no need for the speculation that, that we were all once thinking about, with the public disbursements of knowledge. I'll just go back and lock those so those children won't be able to see that. And even though what I say so carefully, and I say in a way that I think that they could benefit from it at an older age, I still think if I'm completely wrong, or I've said something that's completely off base, and once they close this and it becomes public knowledge and I find that out, my videos don't all, it's just, to me, the children are more important. The children are more important. And that is why when I say, and when people have asked me questions about children and behavior and psychology that are inside of homes like this, I will answer those questions. And I will try to help you understand what those little minds, those little brains are trying to go through. But I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, hey, guess what I heard? I heard that they had this treatment and that treatment, and they needed this and they needed that, and that's protected information. You can't do that. So I'm not trying, I hold no malice toward anyone. Not, if you come here and after the video I did and you said something and then you see this and you think, oh, well, shoot, okay, yeah, she was trying to be nice and warn me. I have no malice. No, nothing. No, Paul, you don't need to apologize to me. I just simply want creators to sit back and go, is what I'm doing viable? And is it useful? And is it legal? And am I helping or hurting? Because this little box right here is intoxicating. And it can shift human behavior in ways you don't understand. And so sometimes we get caught up in this little world. It's not real. It's not real. But the laws that guard those children are very real. And so I just want everybody to be careful, be legal, be kind and courteous, be respectful. Yep. I hope everything, I hope everything that seems to be, it gives some power trips, but I hope everything that's been roaming around the internet today kind of drops. And that's why I did my video. And yeah, I probably have an RBF. I have a very hard edge to me. When you say you're going to put me in a position of, okay, well then you don't like me. You don't like me because you think I spoke out of turn about you. No, that's not it. I'm aggravated with you that you put a YouTube channel about the legal responsibility of children. That's it. This is not a petty war. If you watch this and you feel guilty, go read the client's handbook. Go read the rules and contracts they have to sign. Go read the Tennessee state laws that apply to people that link information. And then sit down and say, am I making the right decisions? Because I am not. If I wanted to behave like some of the adults or people parading around on YouTube like adults, then I would have strung 500 names in my title as clickbait and gotchins all here and entered a word mincing war. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's why I read out of the client's handbook and I read you TCA annotated code. And if you do not line up with both those things, then sorry, it's not me. It's not me just being a butthole. It's if you don't line up with those things, if you violated the things I read to you, then you are violating Tennessee state law. It's not me. No, you don't have a personal issue with me. No, you have a legal issue with Tennessee. But people still come here and go, you can't tell me what to do. I may not be able to, but a district attorney can. Yeah, and I've only heard Dawn say that there was a gag order. And like I said, it's part of their case, and their case is... So I would assume that there is a gag order, and that's why there's not been anyone speaking. So that's why when I listened and I heard them say, I've got a leak from one of the workers directly working with the children, I was like, oh, crap. You know, because we need the best of the best working with these kids, because these kids get used and abused in ways you just can't imagine. And then to get used and abused when they're in protective custody, oh, you know, it's just like, it's tacky. And it's a different kind of victimization. Good evening. That's what I'm saying. That's why I came on here, and I'm not naming any names, and I'm just reading you state law, and I'm reading you the contract they have to sign. I read you out the client's handbook. I give the address if you want to contact them for more information. If you have true questions, go knock on your district attorney's office. I'm sure a victim impact coordinator or an attorney, a state's prosecuting attorney, will answer your questions. Go to the sheriff's department. Sure, they'll answer your questions. But yeah, I hate to see anyone put themselves in a bad position, which is why I don't name names, and I didn't go through YouTube today and make a list of everybody that I thought might be breaching. I heard it once. It irritated me, so when I got done taking care of my 93-year-old grandmother, I came home and said, hey, listen, you're violating state law. This is tacky. Don't do this. These kids need to be protected. But, you know, I'm not going to play this game that a lot of these creators are playing. Yeah. Well, if whoever the family court has put the gag order on, if they speak, it can be contempt of court. If the court gets a complaint or a report of a state worker leaking information, it will likely turn into a separate court case. And depending on the information leaked, how much information leaked, and to who it was leaked, and how it was used, would determine how hefty that charge would be. Yeah. So, you know, this is not anything to play with. I don't even remember who the YouTuber is, and it's not important anymore. I just want everyone to understand that you can't do this. It's illegal. Don't put yourself in that position. Don't put the state of Tennessee in that position. And certainly don't put the children in that position. Just don't do it. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's like I told you the other day, Tennessee state law. Everyone under this umbrella in this mess of an event is protected in some way. Even the people that may be suspected of abuse. Oh, did I miss something? It says, never mind, Liz. I'm sorry if I missed something. So we have to make sure, or as per my old job, I know to make sure that I make sure that everyone's rights are being protected under Tennessee state law. And it's very important to me that, you know, that occurs. Yeah. Even CASA volunteers, anyone that is an earshot or works, even a separate agency that is subcontracted to do something else, even probably the cleaners of the building where the children are being housed, they probably sign these too. And I mean, in the counseling office that I used to work with, anyone that would come on the property that had any kind of professional relationship, even down to the janitors, had to sign, you know, all this information stating that they would not release anything that they saw or heard. And we kept everything, you know, in locking file cabinets, and you protect your client's rights. But it's just an extra safety that the state does for people that are in protective custody, and it just needs to be respected. So, I mean, it's not a big deal. Like everybody's wanting to start a war. Just there, now you know the legal aspect of it. Now you know why I made my video. If you now are still angry when I've read the information straight from the State Department of Tennessee Children's Services website, then I would implore you to go to the dcstn.gov website and do a lot of research tonight. And then I would beg you to do a lot of research about Tennessee Annotated Code for people that violate HIPAA and leak information about children. My children went through an adoption, and they were protected by an adoption contract. And that puppy was airtight. And let me tell you, district attorneys, prosecutors that see people violate protective orders of children, they get grumpy, and they get grumpy really quick. So, because after my children went through their adoption when they were 2.5 and 3.5, the ex-husband's new wife was attempting to contact and leave information via the internet for them to find later in life. And me being the mother I am, I caught it. And we had to send a cease and desist and let her know that that was punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And that they were protected under the adoption contract. And it's very serious. It's very serious. And it's not anything to play with. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. I don't want to see a YouTube creator get hurt. But y'all, I am who I am. Either you come here because you like my content and you know I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the most honest information I can tell you, that I've researched to give you the best information with the most integrity I can. And if you don't want to hear that, don't come here. I will be funny some days and I will poke fun because, you know, I have to deal with a lot of serious stuff in my life, because I do still help people get into rehab and treatment, and I still get subpoenaed to court sometimes because I still have open warrants under my name, and I still have to deal with it. So I'm still kind of stuck in the world a little bit. So I still handle myself as though I'm being monitored like I was when I worked for the state, because let me tell you what, your life belongs to them. When you work for them, you're monitored. And I hold myself to a separate level because I understand the benefit for the people that are being protected. And I want to help you understand that. I don't know. I don't know if it was a setup or anything done like that, but I won't touch anything like that with the 10-foot pole. not when a minor is involved. I will not touch anything like that with the 10-foot pole. So I just won't even go there, because I have been in the cone of shame in front of a judge because I made a misstep before. You know, when you're a young officer, you make missteps, and I made one misstep in my second year, and my judge told me about it, and I was in the cone of shame standing before him on the bench, and I thought, well, I'm never gonna be here again. And so yeah, we put more wrinkles in my brain because I wasn't gonna go through that again. That was embarrassing. And it also creates a technicality to where people that need to be punished don't get punished. So you have to be super careful. But this is something that can be simply corrected by education and reading. In Virginia, you don't want to go to a courthouse. Well, I spent so much time in courthouses and in prisons doing revocation hearings and being on stands for precedence investigations, and it's uncomfortable, but you get used to it. But it's not for the faint of heart, and it's not, if you don't have to be there, you just, you know, you probably don't want to be there. But I would say for anyone that is questioning what I'm saying, if you can go to a criminal court date, or heck, even a misdemeanor court date, go watch court and see the displeasure of some of these judges when these little things occur, and understand how serious this is. This is not, first and foremost, this is the lives of young people that are being protected. It's not YouTube, you know, it's first and foremost, it's just not simply YouTube material. It's the lives of little ones that are being protected. You know, and we can call out the parental behavior and the interviews they've done and the words they have stated. That's public information. They've made it public information. We can talk about news releases. We can talk about any statements from law enforcement. That's all fine. We can make projections and say these are our opinions, but when we start to say I've got insider information about specific mental and physical care of these kids, whew, no. So if you still have a problem with me, please go to the DCS website. Go to files.dcs.tn.gov. Read. Educate. And, oh yeah, you know, I said a long time, he just needs to shut up. The more you talk, the more words that they can put together to use against you. Woohoo, hello. So yeah, he needs to stop. It would be in his best interest to stop. It would really, I'm amazed that whoever whoever has either been assigned to defend them or whoever they've hired to defend them has not really stepped in and said stop. So most of it is common sense. That's what I'm saying. This little box is intoxicating. I like y'all. Y'all are a great support. I think we have a great foundation for a great family, and I think we have a great possible educational channel. And I think we have a place where we can come and be stupid and silly some days, and then have serious conversations on other days, and just kind of get a mixed bag of, hey, we're all just little imperfect creatures trying to get through life. And that's it. But I will, for my career, being a mandatory reporter and being a protector of children for my career, I will step in when I see something that is wrong. And I will educate you as to why it's wrong. But now these little word plays and these little antagonistic crap, and don't come at me with that crap. I don't play that game. Because I don't have a personality issue with you. I'm telling you that you have a legal issue with the state of Tennessee. So, put your nails down, honey. I was told about the video on someone doing genealogical research. And I don't know what that would, I mean, I guess anybody could probably do genealogical research as long as you have an idea of the area the family came from and stuff like that. I mean, you can, like they have the website, the findagravewebsite.com, where people go and take pictures of graves so that loved ones across the country can see their loved ones' graves and stuff like that, and genealogists can put them on websites. So I don't know the specific violations, if that would be one at all, because I think a lot of that is public domain access. But there's just a lot of people that are digging really deep. They're digging really deep holes that are just going to be empty. And I'm like, just leave law enforcement's work to law enforcement. Was that who it was? And I think I've listened to some of her other stuff, like when I've been cleaning the house, and normally she seems very consistent and calm. And I've not been like displeased with her, or anything, and not like she should care if I am or not anyway. But I just want everybody to be legal. I just don't want anybody to violate anybody's rights and get in trouble and not understand the rights of the children. So that's my big thing, is I have no malice toward anybody. I don't want anybody to get in trouble. But I do want you to understand that I saw this. It concerned me. It's illegal. And if you have beef with me, you can have beef with me all day long. I don't care. Till you roll up and have beef with me right here. It's your problem, not mine. But when I read you Tennessee state law and tell you that it's illegal, you might want to thank me. So, because I don't want to see anyone get harmed. Anyone. And I'm just trying to look out for everyone and sprinkle a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of common sense, and say, whoop, hello. And at the end of the day, if you're a parent, think about if this happened to you. It may be far-fetched, but think about, there have been issues where DCS has stepped in and something has happened in a family that everybody had to clutch the pearls over because they didn't think it would ever occur. Think about how you would feel if something like that happened and people were trying to get the medical records and mental health treatment records of your children from DCS workers and therapists. I mean, it would tick me off severely. And, as a mother, it would tick me off severely. It's not anyone's business, absolutely it is, but it is confidential, and we need to understand that. And there's 10,000 ways to have a productive conversation about this case, but violating state law and DCS regulations is not one of them. And I have no malice, no beef with anybody. I just want you to understand and be careful and not put yourself in a position. But my primary concern is those children. I don't even know how they're educating them, what's going on, because I know that's also, it's not for me to know, and it's not my concern, and they are now basically wards of the state, and are being maintained, and I know that they're taking care of them and they're making sure that their needs are met. And when this case ends, then what they deem necessary to release to the public, I will review and talk about. But I'm not willing to overlook what I saw today, because it was illegal and because it was wrong, and because if these creators are going to do this, they need to know, they need to be aware of what they're potentially putting themselves into. I'm telling you, court is not anywhere you want to be. Jail is not anywhere you want to be. So, you know, but I don't want to have these little petty wars. I just don't enjoy that. I mean, if you're going to come at me with your eyebrows up and your nails up and you're going to snap your fingers and rotate your neck 50,000 different ways, bye. I don't do drama. If I have an issue with you, it's probably a legal issue. It's probably something that is like this. You're violating Tennessee state law, and I needed to tell you, and it irritated me because children are precious. I'm not going to pick a ghetto Barbie war with you. Is, you know, I got more important things to do, you know. And that's a long list, because I will almost do anything before I get into a ghetto Barbie war. So, you know, everybody's getting the big head about getting the first break on information, but guys, do not violate HIPAA and those regulations and state law to do it. Don't do it. And if you do it, and you get in trouble, come back and watch this. And now if you're watching this after you did it and you got in trouble, I told you so. I'm not a mean person. I just follow rules. And I like it when people know when they're breaking rules, because it's dangerous and it potentially puts people in harm's way. You're welcome. So, I mean, yeah, you don't confuse me. I am an asshole. But I'm not going to have these good old Barbie wars with these creators. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But if I hear a name, if I'm getting another recommended video and I hear a name of somebody leaking information, bet your sweet baby I will report it. Because if that's a valid concern, if what this person was saying is true, it puts those children at risk, and I will forward any valid information that I hear or see to DCS. So, I don't know. I don't even remember. And most of the channels that are, most of the people that are doing a lot of just commentary are just concerned parents like us. They're just concerned people like us. They're just people that are hoping that everything works out well, and they normally have their heart in the right place, and, it's not a big deal. But then, sometimes they don't understand they've crossed that line. They maybe don't understand that there is a line. Maybe, they've stepped into this world because they're emotionally involved with this case, because it's pulled them in, and they've just allowed their emotions to kind of overtake their common sense. There's a lot of reasons that people, make some confusing and bad decisions. And it doesn't mean they're bad people. There are lots of reasons we make stupid decisions. It doesn't mean you have a black heart and you're ruthless. It just means that you're potentially uneducated. You're potentially too close emotionally to the case. You potentially, are putting a YouTube channel before the privacy and rights of these children. There's a lot of reasons that could go in there, and I just wanted to come on here after I had some little pointed comments to me in the comments. Words. Ooh. I had some comments put, in there, and I was like, listen, I'm just going to tell you, I'll just read it, girl, I'll just read it off the freaking Tennessee website for you. So, just be careful, people, if you get too close to this and you get sucked in and you make a bad decision and you end up violating something, and then you end up having a 2 to 4 year court issue simply because you didn't understand, you're too soaked up in this. You're too soaked up in this. You know, I had a murder one time. I went to do a home visit, and I had my supervisor with me, and we went to where my Sirius XM radio went out, and my phone did not work. So I was truly on my own. This is a little mean old man. Hey, he's just a country. You know, he's hill folk. You know how hill folk talk? They're very degrading and condescending when you show up. You know, but he wasn't mean. It was just the way he was. His wife was a sweetie pie. And so I had to call halfway up the hill and tell him to call the dogs because the dogs were blocking the driveway. And by the time I get to the top of the driveway, I have no phone signal. I have no Sirius radio. That's how long the driveway was and how high up we got by the time I was up at his house. And I get out. And my supervisor's not, he doesn't usually go with me. And he was just tagging along. I think he was doing an audit or something on me that day. And I roll up and the guy comes out and he's like, "Here again, huh?" I said, "Yeah, buddy, you know it. You never know when I'm going to roll up. I just thought, hey, I'm just going to come visit today. Here I am. Here I be. Gonna go through your house. Gonna go through drawers. You know. And gonna go through closets. Have a little chit-chat. You know. And he's like, "One of these days you're going to come up this mountain. You ain't going to come off this mountain." And my supervisor pulled on my vest, my bulletproof vest, because you had to wear one in the field. And he goes, "He's being aggressive. We need to go." And I said, "What'd you say?" He said, "One of these days you're not going to get off this mountain, you come up here." I said, "Oh, psst." I said, "I can't even get you to do 22 hours community service work. You think you're going to dig a hole this big? Psst. You just keep thinking that." And I did my home visit and left. And my supervisor's like, "You should have left. That was potentially a harmful situation." And, you know, but when we went to leave, you know, I said, "Bye." I said, "I'll see you in the next 14 days at some point when I decide to pop back up here." And he goes, "Oh, well, okay then." You know, and his wife is like, "Bye, Miss Lisbeth." So, you know, I don't get too excited over words. I've had a lot of words said to me, you know, words. Ooh, I know a lot too. But if you're let me just say this. This is going to be this is my one ghetto Barbie comment of the night. If you're going to be a big enough smartass to get sassy in the comments, make sure you're a smart enough smartass to be right about it. That's all I say. But if you're right, I'll say you're right. I got no problem with that. I don't mind dialogue. I don't mind conflicting dialogue. That's fine. That's what makes the world go around. We become more logical and rational creatures when we question ourselves and we allow others to question us. But when there is black and white state law, it's just like, that's it. That's what it is. So, you know, and, you know, I just don't want people to think they can say sassy things and think they're going to run me the other direction, because I'm a heifer. I'm a heifer. And I'm here for the right reasons. I'm here trying to educate. I want everybody to be safe. I want them to follow Tennessee state law. And I want to make sure that if someone is doing something that is inappropriate, that they know why it's inappropriate. And I will go on and specifically read and show you where I'm getting the information so that you know why I'm telling you these things. I'm not trying to pick a ghetto Barbie war. I just want everybody to understand that there is protective custody barriers in place here, and you need to respect them. And don't put yourself in a bad position for YouTube clicks, likes, or an ego trip. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Please believe me when I tell you, it is not worth it. Don't put yourself in that position. And try to think of the kids first. So that's basically all I wanted to say, and wanted to make them aware of the state guidelines on where to get the information. And if you have any other specific questions, I will find, if I can answer them, then I will find a number that you can call to question them. But if anyone is doing YouTube videos and they're thinking they're overstepping boundaries, just simply, you know, call the DA's office, talk to a victim impact coordinator, call the sheriff's department. They will explicitly explain it to you and give you the shut off of what you can and cannot do. And that's why you see me pause a lot, or roll back in my head and think about the words I use. Because I'm careful. Very careful. So everyone, try to have a good weekend. I'll all the people that have YouTube pages, you know, do what you do. Put your heart into it, but make sure you're careful when you follow state law. And don't become enraged or jealous when someone else comes along and has a different view or gives different information. Take a moment and soak it up. And sometimes even take a moment to reflect upon your own behavior and then respond, because it probably will put you in a better position. But please always read Tennessee state law. Please. And for God's sake, read the DCS Client's Handbook. A lot of rights and regulations in there. But I love every one of you. Y'all give me a lot of strength through the week, especially on my bad health days. Today was a very good day, but I came home exhausted. I say I'm exhausted, and then my 70-year-old father comes in from Bell and Hay for 10 hours. I should be ashamed, shouldn't I? But I had a really good leg day, had a really good nerve function day, and I was actually able to help my mother with my granny quite a bit. And Granny was very vocal and bright-eyed. I even got her to roll her eyes at me once. And we're having issues with her hands turning in, bless her little heart. And so we're going to order some of those little things that you can grab. And she was, you know, you could see her face, she would shake her head, and she was like, you know, I don't want those. And I was like, how about if I could use those little squeaker balls? And then you can squeak those and annoy your daughter 24/7. And her eyes lit up, and she said, yeah. And so, yeah. But I feel blessed when I get to go and provide any care for my granny. I love my granny. And when we lost her to the nursing home for the virus, it was hard on us, because she is very important to us. And so we're just happy to have her home where we can maintain her and not fall prey to locked doors and mandates and stuff anymore. That was hard on our family, so hard on our family. So I've had a really good day. I got to visit. I felt good. I had more strength today. Now that my bowels are functioning correctly, I'm getting more of my nutrients from my foods. And as you can see, my skin I have no makeup on. My skin is changing. It's becoming more vibrant, brighter, better texture. Starting to look like myself again from about 2 years ago. So I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I still have to be careful because I tax my body super quickly. And if I overdo it, I will be down for 2 or 3 days to recuperate. So I have to be careful. So as soon as I got home today, I had to immediately lay down and rest. But it was a good day. It was a good day. I got to go down under the mountain on the family farm and just kind of disconnect. And when I say disconnect, I mean disconnect because ain't no signal down there. That's why I heard that this morning, and then you didn't hear a blip out of me till this evening because ain't no goddamn signal down there. My dad gets radio in his cab over tractor. He said, but it just skips so bad you can't understand the songs. He said, so I might know like 2 words to 4 songs, and that's about it. And I just thought that was hilarious. But it was a good day, and I hope everybody had a good day. I don't like to come on and have to give like nasty information or negative information. And I don't like for people to think I'm a hooch, because I know I am. I know I have the capability to be an absolute turd. But my heart is in the right spot with this, and my brain is too. And I just want everyone to be careful, to be respectful. You know, there's a lot that we can learn from this, and there's a lot that we can benefit so many other families from this. But if we do it the wrong way, it's not going to help anybody. And at the end of the day, we have to be careful. So, yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend. Depends on how I feel and how much energy I have. So I don't know if you will see me or not. I'm still trying to get my son to give me an evening. He's so busy with his tree service business. I'm trying to get him to give me an evening for that little video on raising young boys, and in particular being raised by a mother that was a parole officer and a counselor, and how that may have been different for him. And he's like me. If he wants to say it, he'll say it, and he'll tell you the truth. So that will probably be an interesting video. I'm working on that. But I don't know, you know, if I do anything this weekend, it'll probably be a quick little, this is how I live, this is funny, or check this out. And that'll be about it. So, everybody have a blessed weekend. Take a moment and check yourself. Take a moment, pat yourself on the back. Or take a moment and read the DCS Client's Handbook and TCA Code. And all will correct. I'm sure anyone that finds themselves educated by that, I'm sure they will correct the issue. There's no reason to drag anybody. I'm sure they'll correct the issue. But let's all get our heads in the right spot, because I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be up behind you. I'm going to bed. Night, y'all.